Yeah, hi. Thank you so much, Korak, for the introduction, and I love the energy that Korak brings to the newsroom as well. Hi, I have Vikram with me, who's the co-founder of ANSR and also the CEO of Talent500. Thank you, Vikram, so much for joining us here today.
Hi, Mohit. It's good to be here. Thank you for
Y-
having me.
Yeah, Vikram. So first of all, let's just clear the air. What were your thoughts on the budget that was announced? What was your
A lot of
initial reaction
positives.
of everything? Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of positives, of course, from our perspective. Extremely heartening to see
yeah,
the attention and emphasis that is being paid to global capability centers. I think it's quite a pivotal moment for us in the industry. I think it's a recognition for global capability centers as a mainstream segment within Indian technology sector. And
yeah,
maybe just to take a quick step back and talk about where we are within the GCC industry, India hosts about 1,600 GCCs today, employing close to 1.5 million professionals directly.
yeah,
GCCs create about 2 to 3x of indirect jobs. So imagine there's about 3 to 4 million people being indirectly employed. So it's an industry bringing in upwards of $50 billion today, year on year, projected to hit about 100 billion in the coming years, and employing close to about 2.5 million professionals directly. So there's a huge sort of momentum that the industry is building today, and more importantly, I think a big recognition of India's soft power as the de facto capital for
yeah,
global innovation R&D. There was a very interesting term that was used today. I believe the finance minister as well. I saw Smriti Irani posted something on LinkedIn, and it was called "Make in India for the World," and it's
yeah,
an extension for the Make in India movement, which is recognizing the fact that today we're not just making in India, we're making it for the world.
yeah.
So extremely proud moment really for us as an industry to be recognized and for the attention that it's gotten. So, just quick sort of summary or snapshots of what we've seen in the budget that's encouraging for us. I think the framework that was announced for increasing the policy and regulatory attention for GCCs, particularly in tier two and tier threes, is extremely encouraging. Means that there is going to be a lot of attention to ensuring a more holistic growth for the
Yeah,
industry. And that, of course, means not just talent, but it also means infrastructure, regulation, policies, so on and so forth.
yeah,
I think the second big announcement was on ease of doing business, specifically around transfer pricing and the 3-year block on agreeing on transfer pricing details, which means that from a global taxation process, it becomes very easy for companies to set up and operate GCCs. We do believe that there'll be more such sort of details that will come out in
yeah.
the defined policy as well. But overall, very excited.
Definitely. And I think ANSR also released a report recently that there are going to be 620 plus GCCs by 2030. So I think that number is also faring very well right now when it comes to the policies as well. So do you think when it comes to all these infrastructure in the tier two cities as
Yeah.
well, how do you see that improving in the maybe next year, next 2 years, next 5 years?
Yeah, so Mohit, we're at the early stages of this movement now becoming a pan-India movement. Of course, the benefactors of the GCC industry so far have been the large, Bangalore, Hyderabad's, NCR, Chennai, so on. Tier twos
Yeah,
and threes have caught on very, very nicely in the last few years, and there's a lot of work to be done. But we're very, very encouraged by seeing the positive signs and acceptance coming in from both the talent side as well as the industry or business side. A
yeah,
lot of work to be done in terms of ensuring that there is the infrastructure available to support the growth of GCCs. Ensuring that from a talent availability standpoint, we're doing a lot of work to ensure that talent essentially starts looking at GCCs as the
yeah,
viable choice of
yeah,
employment. Reskilling, upskilling. The government has previously announced a lot of encouraging signs for promoting new technologies like AI and building sort of specific regulatory frameworks around that, which I think is going to be very interesting to watch in the coming years. So all
yeah.
of this really goes towards building that ecosystem which will develop GCCs in the coming years. But one of the things that we are seeing is, a steady 30 to 40% growth in demand for tier two and tier three locations, which has been happening for the last couple of years, and we believe will continue into 2025 as well.
Definitely. And I think when you mention about the AI upskilling part as well. So the AI Center of Excellences have also been, they're going to ramp up as well. They have announced the fourth one as well. So how do you see the upskilling part coming
Yeah.
into for GCCs as well? So I like the IIT Patna is there. So that is going to be the fourth AI Center of Excellence. So do you think that
Yes.
will also take a effect on GCCs and the
Yes.
talent pool that is here?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at AI today, it is the conversation of the hour. Has AI as their top three priority items. And the big challenge that the world is having with AI is that there's a global shortage of talent. As
Yeah,
much as something like 34% of all roles within the broader sort of uh, domain of AI or whatever classifies as AI, sorry, has been going unfilled in more mature markets like the US. And that's the opportunity that we have in India to use GCCs as a way to build our own sovereign capabilities, right? Whether that is from a talent perspective or from an IP perspective. I think we've all seen the news coming out of DeepSeek and the innovations that has happened in China. And India has been known to be in a country that has innovated with constrained resources in the past. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to produce not just talent but also intellectual capital for the world. And I think AI is going to be one of those spaces that we'll see a lot of positive action coming from India.
yeah. Good that you brought up DeepSeek because that was something that was on my mind as well. So what are your views on the opportunity for India when it comes to building something like DeepSeek? Because a lot of IT companies and all these, they're adopting DeepSeek and providing for their clients. So do you think instead of that, there would be
Yeah.
something that would build a model and provide it for their clients?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a complicated question to answer. I think there's a big debate going on right now. I was reading about the CEO of Perplexity talking about how India should invest in building out foundational models. It's not as simple as that. I think there's a fair amount of effort, money, resources that need to be spent on building a long-term infrastructure. I don't think we need to copy or imitate what China has done. I think India has over the years developed our own unique proposition for innovation and R&D. And in many ways, that is what has led us to become this capital for global capability centers. So I
Yeah,
think that the opportunity for us is, sort of finding our own niche within the broader AI or sort of emerging technology segment, and then capitalizing on that by using the tremendous amount of intellectual capital that we have.
yeah,
And I think more uniquely, India's positioned as a market where we have other global companies. We have a very strong homegrown startup ecosystem as well as an extremely robust services industry. So I think the trifecta of these, coming together can create tremendous synergies if it's encouraged also by government and regulatory policies, which of course, going by what we're seeing, seems to be the intention of the government as well. So I think lots of positive opportunities for us. I'm quite
yeah.
ambitious and optimistic about what's coming up, and hopefully we create our own innovation, which may look very different than DeepSeek, but have the same impact.
Definitely. And so I think also on the economic survey report, there was a lot of mention about how AI will impact the job market as well. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think there's going to be concerns soon, or is India well prepared for that?
No, I think some of those concerns are slightly overblown. If you think about the notion of AI taking away jobs, it's not that simple. I think technology advancement at any point creates efficiencies, which means that it frees up people's time to do things that are more productive. So
Yeah,
we think that there's a net positive impact that can be brought about. Of course, AI will change the nature of work that we do, but it won't take away work. I mean, at the end of the day, humans will still be required to do something. After all, AI is
yeah,
also built by humans. So we think that it's a little bit overblown. But on the flip side, if you were to look at it as a positive, hopefully it takes away time from doing things that could be automated to spending time doing things about the economic impact at a much more global scale.
definitely. I think so. For me, the most welcoming news I think was the no income tax for up to INR 12 lakhs per year. So that is going
Yeah.
to benefit the middle class a lot. So at the same time, that is also going to be
Yes.
beneficial for the GCCs that are going into tier two cities, because a lot of people who are working in these tier two cities, GCCs, they feel like they're not earning enough because they also pay less. So now that the slab is a little bit higher, do you think that is also going to affect their capabilities or the employment rate over there?
I think in many ways, this has these sort of announcements and policies have a domino effect on the larger industry as a whole, by creating more opportunities for younger professionals to get into the job force and take more risks early on. It creates,
Yeah,
a workforce that is focusing more on the quality of work that they're doing. So I think in many ways, there could be many long-term benefits that we get out of this. Of course, the execution of this, is where it really becomes interesting, right? So how do we actually use these policies to drive growth of talent and talent ecosystems is where as an industry we would spend time on. So for example, you're seeing GCCs now starting to do a lot more work with younger professionals. This was not the case
yeah,
before.
yeah,
And hopefully that means that from an apprenticeship standpoint, a lot more professionals are getting these opportunities younger in their career, which also means, to your question, right, as we look at tier two and tier three growth, more and more professionals early in their workforce get employed within these companies, and it gives them that access to global workplace culture that is truly unique, right, and helps them in the long term.
yeah. And one more interesting thing was about the abolition of the angel tax. So I know that is mostly focused on the startup bit, but do you think there's also something for GCCs here as well when it comes to setting up here?
Yeah, a big part of the GCC agenda is innovation. And, a lot of GCCs today actively support, mentor, partner, invest in startups. So in general, anything that benefits and enhances our competitiveness as a startup market increases the impact that it has on the GCC market. So very encouraged by that move as well. Hopefully that means that a lot of startups get the necessary support earlier on to scale and grow and produce truly world-class products that can tomorrow be used by GCCs, to drive global impact. So I think from that standpoint, we would definitely be an indirect benefactor of that and would
Yeah.
welcome that for sure.
Definitely. And when coming back to this upskilling part and all the tier two, tier three cities. So when it comes to all these center of excellences and the STEM graduates that are coming out of universities, do you think the budget was well enough addressed towards them, or how can we change that? How can we have more STEM graduates coming out of the country that are focused on developing something more robust and for the world as well, to make in India to make for the world as well?
Yeah. No, I think and again, like I said, I think it's a bit early to comment on the larger sort of impact of these policies because again, it'll be interesting to see how it gets rolled out. But the early signs are positive. I think there are some very interesting call outs to how we plan on encouraging early skill development. You spoke about the announcements about the IITs, for example. You mentioned the focus on AI-based skilling. I think these are all very positive signs. One of the things that we're seeing as as a country or as a segment within the larger tech industry for GCCs is the fact that our competitiveness is going to be on the skill of talent that we produce and put in front of these global companies. So anything that can do to strengthen that will continue to enhance our our position as the number one GCC capital. So hoping that some of what has been introduced can continue to help. This has been something that was introduced in the last budget as well. So hoping that we are starting to see a lot more of that impact come through. I mean, this won't happen overnight,
Yeah.
but hoping in the coming years we'll see a lot more positive impact from that.
Definitely. So I have a very interesting question for you. So I was speaking to your co-founder as well, Lalit Ahuja, I think last month or something. So he said that there's a possibility that there might be one person GCC possible, maybe in like a decade or something in India. So do you think that is going to be possible when it comes to building something like AI agents are coming here as well? And now that the middle management, which was not really interested in coming to tier two, tier three cities because the infrastructure was not good enough. So do you think that is now possible?
The very ambitious and sort of innovative ones amongst us will tell us that over time, coding will get replaced by AI. There's already some very interesting tools out there, and human agents will get replaced by AI agents, and it'll lead to these sort of notions of one people companies and so on. Um, why not, right? I mean, where technology is headed today, I think we have an opportunity to create one-person GCCs where technology can automate a lot of mundane tasks that were previously done by humans. But on the flip side, it also allows us to create GCCs where human intelligence is being used for solving truly impactful problems, right? So I think to that extent, we're seeing that a lot of low productivity tasks being automated. We're seeing a lot of high impact, high intellect tasks now coming back to humans, which means that there's a equal distribution of attention and time. And yeah, I mean, the future is very exciting. But again, of course, we're all dreamers with technology. So hoping that we get to a place where technology is used responsibly as well, right? I mean, that's the
Yeah.
fundamental underlying message here from those who are building it as well. So
Yeah, definitely. So one more thing that I want to ask you. So the idea of Viksit Bharat 2047, do you think there was anything missing from the budget that could have been included that you were like, this should have been there, but it was not there?
at first thoughts, no, Mohit, I think it was quite balanced. And we'll have to do a little bit more digging into to see that, whether we've covered all. But at first thoughts, I think we've sort of laid out a very clear plan. And again, like I said, these are all policies. It comes down to the execution of it. And, quite honestly, for all of us as stakeholders of growth and industry, it comes down to how we adopt these to create better outcomes for ourselves and for our customers, right? So quite excited about where we are today.
Definitely. So yeah, Vikram, thank you so much for joining us today, and I'm glad to see that you also have an optimistic look for the budget as well. And yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Mohit. Thank
Yeah,
you so much. Thank you. Take care.
take care. Take care. Thank you.